Today we speak with Fred Kempe, President and CEO of the Atlantic Council, about how the geopolitical energy landscape is evolving. I am Mash'al Kindi, and this is ADNOC INSIGHTS. Welcome to ADNOC INSIGHTS, Fred.
It's great to be here.
Pleasure to have you. To start off with, what are the main geopolitical issues affecting the oil and gas industry today?
What one's hearing about more and more is China. So clearly you have issues regarding Venezuelan sanctions. You have issues regarding Iran and sanctions and Iranian output. But if the United States continues in a trade battle with China, where the two economies actually start drifting toward decoupling, it could bring about a slowdown in the global economy that could even tilt the global economy toward a recession, certainly potentially the United States toward a recession. And there's some dangers in Europe already. You see recessionary signs in Germany. That could then push down oil prices in a more dramatic way than OPEC can handle.
What advice would you give oil and gas companies to help them navigate this landscape better?
I'd say two pieces of advice. One of them is pay attention to the geopolitics, because the geopolitics of the energy transition is dramatic. You have countries that rose on the back of fossil fuels. This new world allows countries to rise who have no natural resources whatsoever, at least not the natural resources that say UAE, the Saudi Arabia, or Russia have had. So first of all, look at the geopolitics of the change. The second thing is look at the impact of technology. We are in only the beginning stages of the fourth industrial revolution. Issues like 5G, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, bioengineering, the genetics revolution, it's going to touch every part of humanity, and particularly energy technologies could have a huge impact on the workforce. How many jobs are you actually going to need in major energy companies in the future? That's a big question.
Are there any emerging geopolitical issues that are not yet on our radar, but are likely to impact the energy world?
I think that this emerging issue is the contest of major powers. So far everyone's talking about the trade war and US tariffs on China. But this could well become a generational contest between two major powers and two major systems that could have ripples throughout the global economy. And we may be living with this for as long as we lived with the US-Soviet contest. And the difference of this contest is our economies are so intertwined, and the global economy is so integrated in a way it wasn't during the Soviet period. And the real question is, how do we come to terms with that? So I think people are underestimating the impact of our new era of major power competition.
We usually tend to focus on negative aspects and challenges. What positive trends do you see on the geopolitical horizon? Technology
has two sides. One of them is the disruption of technology. What jobs will AI take? What jobs will robotics take and advanced manufacturing? There's another side to this as well, and that is technology can unlock one of the most progressive eras we've ever had. Healthcare could get better and is getting better. Education can be more widespread. The access to science and knowledge could almost be universal. So we could be heading into one of the most promising periods of human history, but it could also go in another direction, and that's going to be up to human agency and the leaders steering this era of technological disruption.
You talked about people and jobs, creating new jobs. What can oil and gas companies do to attract the best talent?
I think it's going to be a huge challenge because some of the best talent now wants to go into technology fields or highly automated fields, wants to go into renewables. So I think some of the best talent is going to say, well, this is where I want to go. I think the more that your traditional oil companies, fossil fuel companies, start participating in the energy transition, then the engineers will say, look, I want to be part of this wild ride. I want to be part of this transition. And so I think the way to appeal to a rising workforce is to do as ADNOC and many others are doing, and that is to modernize your approach to what you've been doing traditionally and make it a little bit sexier for the next generation to come work for you.
So do you think the oil and gas companies today are ready for the new future?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think they are getting ready quickly because they must, but there's a gap between those who are a little bit more visionary and are moving a little bit faster, and those who, to a certain extent, are living in denial. I think those who think fossil fuels are going to disappear as in the energy mix are absolutely wrong, but I do think that the energy transition could be more rapid and could be and could leave some companies flat-footed.
Fred, it was an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for your insights.
Pleasure all mine.